Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about the book Leather and Lark by Miss Brynne Weaver. This is the sequel to the book Butcher and Blackbird. I keep saying Blackbeard. It's Blackbird. Butcher and Blackbird. No disrespect, Sloan. I love you. So let's go ahead. Let's read the back and then we will go ahead and get into it and talk about it. It says, the latest in the New York Times and USA Today best-selling Ruinous Love trilogy, an enemies to lovers dark romantic comedy, excuse me you guys, packed with danger, chaos, and heat. Hopefully my eye makeup will hold up. After contract killer Lachlan Kane botches a job for his boss's biggest client, he knows he'll never claw his way out of the underworld. At least, not until songbird Lark Montague offers him a deal. Hunt down a killer and she'll secure his freedom. The catch? He has to marry her. And they can't stand each other. Indie singer-songwriter Lark is the sunshine that burns through the darkness Lachlan Kane tries to hide behind. Lachlan might think Lark is just a privileged princess, but the truth is that she keeps plenty of secrets. With her formidable family in a tailspin and her best friend's happiness on the line, Lark's willing to make a vow to the man she's determined to hate, no matter how tempting the broody assassin might be. As Lachlan and Lark navigate the mission that binds them together, it becomes impossible to discern their fake marriage from a real one. But the restless ghosts left to their wake, excuse me you guys, are only a few steps behind, ready to claim more than just their newfound love. There's another phantom lurking on their doorstep, and this one has come for blood. So, this is the second book. If you've read the first one, then you know that Lark is Sloane's best friend, and the leather is Lachlan Kane, who is a leather crafter. He makes things out of leather, and there's a word for it, but I can't think of what it is. But I think he works with metal, too. But okay, I'm just gonna start off by saying I rated this book. Let's see, what did I rate it? Probably 5 out of 5. Yeah, I rated it 5 out of 5. I loved this book. Absolutely loved it. It was not as gross as the first one as far as some of the things. Let's go over the content warnings. Let's go ahead and read that because I'm not monetized. So what's YouTube gonna do? Every time I film. Okay, content and trigger warnings. As much as Leather and Lark is a dark romantic comedy and will hopefully make you laugh through the madness, it's still dark. Please read responsibly. If you have any questions about this list, please don't hesitate to contact me at brynweaverbooks.com or on one of my social media platforms. I'm most active on Instagram and TikTok. Alright, so this is the list, okay? Eyeballs, but not eye sockets, so you're welcome. Teeth and tooth byproducts. I might have ruined pizza and beer. Also smoothies. Still not sorry. Snow globes. Auto cannibalism. Welcome to a debate you never thought you'd have. Numerous weapons and sharp objects, including darts, scissors, guns, saws, knives, grinders, an edger, and a little implement called an enucleation spoon. Severed fingers. You might have new thoughts about crafting with epoxy resin. Sorry, just remembering the part. Vehicular collisions, drowning in various forms, terminal illness of a loved one, detailed sex scenes, which include, but are not limited to, adult toys, choking, rough sex, mild degradation, sexual acts in public, pegging, and a praise kink, references to parental neglect and child abuse, not depicted, references to child sexual assault, also not depicted, religious references and trauma, explicit and colorful language, including a lot of blasphemy, don't say I didn't warn you, injured dog, cause of injury not depicted, and he's okay, I promise. There is a lot of death. It's a book about a contract killer and a serial killer falling in love, so I feel like that's probably a given. So, this one also does come with a nice playlist. Once again, I didn't listen to the playlist. Well, I read the book. I'm not somebody that does that. So it has 26 chapters, an epilogue, and a bonus chapter. The bonus chapter is same as the first book. It is extra spicy. Extra spicy. There's a lot of spice in this book. There's a lot of sex. There's also a lot of gore. I kind of want to talk about it, but I also don't, because on my video reviews I try not to give too many spoilers. I will say that if you read the first book and you liked the first book and you're like, I can't, this is gonna thrill you just as much. It's not Sloane and Rowan. You can't really compare with Sloane and Rowan. You know, it's kind of like Feyre and Rhysand. Not Rhysand, Rhysand. You know, they're classic, right, from the Akotar series. But Lark is Sloane's really, really good friend, and so we learn more about her past, her history, her family, all of that stuff. And we do learn more about Lachlan. He, I believe, is the older brother of Rowan and Fionn, Fionn, who, spoiler alert, the third book is already up for pre-order. You can order a special version via Barnes & Noble, otherwise just wherever you get your books. It does not come out until 2025. I think it's February of 2025. So just be aware that if you pre-order it, you're going to pay for it now, and it'll ship to you, you know, when it releases. So that's in case you didn't know how pre-orders work. But don't expect to like order it and then get it immediately. That's not going to happen. But it's supposed to be about Finn and his love interest, which I'm really excited to read about. But this book does not disappoint. There is plenty of gore, there's plenty of death, there's plenty of darkness. I have to say that this book for me was not as gross or as gruesome as the first book. There are several parts where, you know, there's a lot of death and there's a lot of murder. Okay, so Lark and Lachlan have hobbies that they partake in together, and there's one time when they're partaking in a particular type of hobby. Well, in a hobby, but like in a specific kind of way. And Lark, who, you know, she's killed people before. She's just like Sloane. She kills killers. She kills predators and things like that, which we don't necessarily condone that here, but also sometimes people in books, in fictional books, they do deserve it, right? We can definitely cheer for that. Especially when bad guys in books get theirs. They get what they deserve. Heck yes. But they are partaking in a task together, and she can't stop gagging, and she's just like, I don't know how people do this. Well, okay, it has to deal with eyeballs, and she's just like, I don't know how Sloane does, like, she just gags. And I'm sitting here going, girl, you've killed multiple people before, but like, this is the line. Like, this is the line. There's multiple deaths, and you know, Sloane has a signature, right? They call her Blackbird, they call her, the Orb Weaver. She's known for taking eyeballs from her victims, right? And weaving a web. You know, she weaves their body parts up in a way. If you haven't read the first book, if you read the first book, you know. If you don't, then you don't know. But Lark does not kill people the same way. She does not have a signature the way that Sloane does. I mean, I think all killers kind of in a way have a signature. They have something that they do the same in all of them, even if they're killing by different means. But all of her kills were different. She used different implements, different tools, different methods. Like they're all pretty different. One thing that's consistent is, of course, glitter. Her obsession with glitter and gold stars, which I think really lightens her character. Like, I feel like Lark, somebody who has been through the sexual assault that she went through at the Institute, which is never outright stated, but it's heavily hinted at. You know, the assault that she went through, and you don't know what all she went through. Of course, they don't really talk about it, but it was definitely horrific, and it definitely can breed a dark personality, and she's the sunshine. Like, Lachlan refers to her, she's the sunshine to his darkness. And I think that's, you know, she brightens up a lot of people. She brightens up Sloane's days a lot of times. Like, she's just known as a very, very bright, bubbly person. And for her to like glitter and gold stars and like really super girly things, and then also have this kind of darker side, I feel like it's super relatable to a lot of us. But it's nice to see a lighter personality. Sometimes when you have these killers, it's just all darkness, you know. They might have a little bit of light, but Lark is almost like 50-50, you know. She is very, very fun to read about. She's got a great sense of humor. She's obsessed with the movie Constantine and Keanu Reeves. She went through a lot in her childhood before the whole Ashburn Institute stuff happened, which is how she lost her father, which was what happened when she was a child, and how she lost her biological father, which happened before the Ashburn Institute. So it's kind of trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma. So, but this, it's a windy, twisty little book, I have to say. And just like in the first one, the killer is not, well, of course there's multiple killers in here, right? But like the one that's stalking them throughout the whole book, the one that we got a hint of at the end of the first book, it's not who you would think it would be. I don't know. I can say that it's somebody who is super religious, which I hate when they use religious, because I'm a Christian and I hate when people use religion as an excuse to kill somebody else or hurt somebody else or do something bad, because it's like, no, that's not, okay, that's not how this works. That doesn't mean what you think it means. And he quotes scripture quite a bit, and he said he was raised in a very religious home and his mother was super religious. So it's kind of interesting, because I feel like that's also, there have been a lot of serial killers and people who have gone out and killed people who do that, and they are super religious and they think that they're doing it for a greater good, or they think they're doing it for God, or what have you, and how they interpret the Bible and scriptures and things like that. So it's interesting to see that, because we've seen that in the real world too. So there's that. I don't want to say too much about the story. The plot is basically like how they get together, because they really can't stand each other, and that's established in the one of the first couple of chapters. It's not in the prologue, it's in one of the first chapters, where they kind of go back in time and they kind of show what happened. In the first book, we noticed that Lark and Lachlan kind of were standoffish to each other. Like they didn't want to be around each other. They kind of act like they had beef with each other. Like they just didn't like each other for some reason, but we were never told why. And I think I said that to my husband, and I probably said it in the review too. Like it wasn't clear, like, had they met before? Like, did they know each other? Did they sleep together? Did they not sleep together? Did they hook up? Like, you know, do they have some kind of past connection? Do they know? Like, you don't know. In this book, you find out the details of that and why they feel that way about each other. And it's quite interesting, because they go through some of the events in this book that were in towards the end of the first book, except it's from the point of view of Lark and Lachlan. And it's just interesting to see different points of view, and of course how, you know, best friends see it when their friends get married or their brother gets married. And it's just it's very nice to see. And we do have a couple of really comedic characters like Auntie Ethel and Leander, who is Lachlan's boss. I almost want the two of them to have gotten their own love story, because I feel like they would have. I know Auntie Ethel, she was old and she was dying. She had a terminal illness. So she's in her like 70s, 80s. She's elderly, right? And then Leander is younger, but I still think they would have made a killer couple. And once you read this book, once you read this book, you'll probably understand a little bit more, because they both have such a twisted sense of humor, and I just feel like that would have been absolutely hilarious to read. It just would have been really funny. I don't want to say like too much. There is these chapters, just like the first book, they will go from like Lachlan, and then you have maybe the next chapter, or you have a couple chapters in one point of view, and then you have a chapter or two of another point of view. So it does go back and forth between Lark and Lachlan. So you do get to see what they see about the other person, how they interpret things, how they understand things. You get the different perspective, which is nice to have. I do recommend this book. Like I think if you haven't read the first one, there's going to be a couple things in here that you're not going to understand. If you've read the first one, there are going to be things that happen in this book, or things that get said. Like they don't understand why Sloane and Rowan don't like cookies and cream ice cream. And if you know, you know. And I'm not going to ruin that for you here, but they make a joke, like Lark is like, I don't know why they won't eat cookies and cream ice cream anymore. Like they just don't eat that. And Lachlan, is kind of agrees, and he's like, yeah, I don't get it either. And if you've read the first book, then you know why they won't eat it, and that's absolutely disgusting, okay? But it's so dark, but also so funny. I feel like there are more funny moments in this one. But you'll have to let me know what you think. This book did just come out a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And I did pre-order it, so I made sure to order it as soon as it came out so that I could get it and read it, because I loved the first one. So let me know if you have read this book. Again, I rated this 5 out of 5 stars. It's a great book. I think if you haven't read the first book, you can read this by itself. There's just going to be a couple of things that make you go, what does that mean? Or you may not find it as amusing or whatever as the first one. But let me know if you've read this book and what you think. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, let me know all the things in the comments below. Don't forget that I do post more descriptive, detailed reviews over on my blog, which is on my website, beautifullyfearless.com. There's a link to my blog if you would like to read that. I did review Butcher and Blackbird. I don't know why I consistently call her Blackbeard. I don't know. I don't know what that is. But I do video book reviews, but then I do like a more in-depth book review over on my blog. So if you want to read more, and there are spoilers in my blog. I try not to do too many spoilers over here. Too many, none. But, so there's that. Don't forget to go follow me over on the Instagram. Like this video if you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring that bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new video, because you never know what kind of content is going to pop up over here on this channel. I thank you all so much for watching. I love you all very, very much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!